So after there's been an agreement in your case or a judgment in your case, a petition is a written request that you make to the court to make the outcome look better for you. One type of petition that you can file is called a petition to satisfy. And satisfying means that you've done everything that you were supposed to under either the judge's order in your case or under the settlement agreement. So it will make it so that the court record shows that there's nothing else that you're required to do and you've satisfied all of your obligations. A petition to open a default judgment is where you missed your court date. So the court entered a judgment against you saying that you are evicted or that you owe money just because you weren't there to defend yourself. So what you do is you file something explaining why were you not at your court date, and also you have to explain why you have a defense to whatever the action is. So a reason why they shouldn't be able to evict you or a reason why you don't owe money. And if you file that, then you can get first a hearing on whether the default judgment is going to be removed, and then if the default judgment is removed, then you go back to having the option of having a trial or an agreement. So to file a petition, you should go back to the municipal courthouse, which is at 1339 Chestnut Street, and go up to the 10th floor. And there's filing clerks up there on the 10th floor who will help you fill out the paperwork. So you talk to the filing clerks, you explain what kind of petition you're trying to file, they'll write it up with you, and then after they write it up and submit it, then you have to send the petition to your landlord. A petition to stay an eviction is when you've lost your eviction case and there is an eviction against you, or when you have a settlement agreement that has a move-out date and you have some kind of life emergency that's preventing you from making your move-out date. So you go to the court and you explain whatever the serious circumstances are or the emergency that you have that prevents you from being able to comply with the court's order, and you ask the court for a little more time. A petition to vacate a judgment is where you're asking the court to mark that it's as though the case never happened. It's still going to show up online and it'll still be searchable, but legally it will no longer have any force or effect. So getting your case vacated is pretty much the best outcome that you can have in terms of what your record will look like. A petition to reconsider is where the judge made a decision and you're asking them to change their mind. And so you go to the court and you file and you explain why the judge made the wrong decision and they should make a different one. So in the petition, you have to state the reasons why the judge should grant it. So that's different depending on the petition. So for example, for a petition to open a default judgment, you have to explain why you weren't able to be at the last court date and why you would actually have a defense if the case were put on for a new trial. If you miss a petition deadline, you can still follow the same steps of going to the 10th floor of the courthouse and filing it, but you'll also have to include in your explanation why you missed that deadline. You should attach to your petition any kind of documentation or any pictures or other evidence that you have to show why the petition should be granted, or anything that supports your side. You should be sure to white out any confidential information in any documents that you're putting into the court. So ordinarily when you file a petition, you have to pay a filing fee. If you're low income, you can ask the court to waive those fees by filing what's called an IFP, which is saying to the court that you're low income and asking to not have to pay those fees. After you've filed your petition, you'll get a copy of it from the people on the 10th floor, and you have to then send that to your landlord. The way that you need to send it is by having someone serve it on them. Serving it on them means you get someone who is over the age of 21, who's not part of the case, so not one of the people being evicted, and also not one of your family members, to deliver it in hand to the landlord's address. After you file your petition, it's very important to call the court the next day. If you don't call the court, then your petition won't get scheduled for a hearing and you won't get what you're asking for. So what you should do is you should call the court at 215-686-7989. You should tell them that you filed a petition and you need to get it scheduled for a hearing.